All right, let's dive into something really cool today. We're going to be looking at the intersection of art and AI. You guys sent in some fascinating stuff about this project, Reality Bytes.
Mhm.
It's by this artist, Michelangelo Rosario, and we've got a website and a YouTube video of the performance. And just glancing at it, it's clear this is not your typical play. The thing that really caught my eye is that this screenplay is completely AI generated. And it's interactive, too. So imagine this. You're in the audience, and you become a character by wearing a mask. And there's this AI host guiding the whole experience.
It's really interesting how Rosario is pushing the boundaries here, in traditional theater, by taking out the human actors entirely and using AI for everything. The script, the voices, the visuals, even the music, it becomes this commentary on our relationship with technology.
It really does. And speaking of AI, there's this AI host named AI George. He's this 3D avatar, and he seems to be the central character. The website describes him as a guide and instructor for the audience. I'm curious, what do you think about this choice? Having an AI as the main character, especially one that interacts directly with the audience, who are wearing these masks.
And I think it's a brilliant way to blur the lines between being a spectator and a performer. By literally putting on the face of AI George,
Hmm.
the audience becomes part of the play's message. It's not just passively watching a story unfold anymore. You're actively engaging with these ideas.
That's such a good point. And the website mentions that AI George delivers this thought-provoking monologue. During the performance, there's one line that really jumped out at me. What can be if everything is synthesized, simulated? It seems like he's wrestling with some pretty big questions about reality itself.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that line speaks to a deeper anxiety we might all have about technology's influence. As AI gets more sophisticated, it makes us question what's real, what's authentic, what does it even mean to be human when so much can be simulated?
Yeah, that's a great point. And speaking of simulation, the visual elements sound amazing. From what I gather, there's this large screen that transforms from a retro living room into this futuristic space, almost symbolizing this evolution of how we interact with AI.
It really emphasizes that rapid pace of change, doesn't it?
Yep.
And how technology is reshaping our world. And maybe even how we understand ourselves. It's like we're moving from this familiar analog past
Yeah.
into a digital future. That's exciting, but also maybe a little disorienting.
Totally. And then there are these short videos projected on a virtual TV screen. Within this environment, the website called them critical and said they explore themes like the erosion of truth and information overload. I'm really curious to learn more about these videos. What do you think their purpose is in the play?
Well, I think they act as a kind of satirical commentary on our digital culture. Rosario seems to be using humor to point out the potential problems of our reliance on technology.
So it's not just presenting these ideas directly, it's using satire to make a point.
Exactly. It's like he's holding up a funhouse mirror, reflecting our anxieties about technology back at us, but with a touch of humor to make it more engaging and thought-provoking.
I'm starting to see how all these different pieces fit together. The AI host, the audience participation with the masks, the visual spectacle, and those satirical videos. It all comes together to create this really unique experience.
It's a multi-layered approach, for sure, which allows Rosario to explore these really complex themes in a way that's both intellectually stimulating and emotionally resonant.
Speaking of satire, let's talk about those fake advertisements you mentioned. The website listed a few examples. Fake news, Lickifs, iBrain, and Mars colonization. They sound pretty intriguing and maybe a little unsettling.
They are. They're a great example of how Rosario uses humor to critique how we interact with technology. Like fake news, for instance. It celebrates outrageousness over facts, which seems like a commentary on misinformation and how it spreads in the digital world. And then you have Vlickus, which offers these 5-second videos that play on our shrinking attention spans.
It's amazing how he captures these real trends in such a funny way. It makes you laugh, but then you think, wait a minute, is this really where we're headed? It's funny and a little bit scary at the same time.
Right. And then there's iBrain, which promises instant genius. Through this neural interface, it seems to be satirizing our desire for quick fixes and this belief that technology can solve all our problems, even enhance our intelligence.
I wonder what he's trying to say with that one. It's like he's poking fun at transhumanism, this idea that we can transcend human limitations with technology.
I think you're right on the money. It's a critique of transhumanist ideals. But he does it in a subtle way. Instead of condemning the idea outright, he presents it humorously. So the audience has to question its implications. What are the potential downsides of these enhancements? What do we gain and what do we lose?
It's fascinating how he weaves these complex ideas into these simple, entertaining elements like fake ads. It makes me want to learn more about each one.
Well, let's dig into that a bit. Mars colonization, for example.
Mm.
It romanticizes this idea of escaping Earth's problems. By going to Mars, what do you think Rosario's saying about our tendency to look for technological solutions to problems that are deeply rooted, socially and environmentally?
It's like he's suggesting that instead of dealing with the problems here, we're tempted to find a way out through technology. But would that really solve anything? Or just delay the inevitable? And at what cost?
Those are great questions. And I think Reality Bites wants us to think about those dilemmas, to consider the ethical side of our technological pursuits, even those that seem like they're offering solutions.
Okay, my mind is racing now with all these different layers of meaning. This is what makes this project so fascinating. It's art, it's technology, it's social commentary, all rolled into one.
And it doesn't stop there. The website says that Reality Bites is open source, so anyone can stage it anywhere. With very few resources, you just need a projector and some printed masks.
That's incredible. It seems like he's intentionally making this accessible. What do you think about this open source approach?
I think it's a strong statement about democratizing art and getting people talking about technology in all sorts of different communities. By making the script and everything available online, he's inviting everyone to engage with these ideas.
And the website also mentions translated subtitles for the YouTube video, which again emphasizes this global reach. It's not just art for a select few, it's a conversation starter for the whole world.
Exactly. It recognizes that AI and its impact aren't limited to specific cultures or languages. These are global issues that need a global discussion.
So, what started as this unique art project is starting to feel like a movement. Art as activism, using technology to spark critical thinking and conversation about our digital future.
That's a great way to put it. It's not just about creating art, it's about using art as a tool for social change and empowering people to shape their own technological destinies.
Before we move on
Yeah.
and delve deeper into the specifics of Reality Bites, what's standing out to you the most so far? What has you really curious with it?
Honestly, it's the way Rosario blends humor and existentialism to deliver such a powerful message. He tackles these complicated questions about technology without being preachy or overly technical. He invites us to laugh, think, and question, all at the same time. That's a rare and powerful combination.
I agree. And for me, it's the audience participation that really grabs me. That idea of literally putting on this AI mask
Right.
and then being guided through this experience by the AI host. It's just so innovative and thought-provoking. I can't wait to unpack it further.
Let's do it. There's so much more to discover about Reality Bites and how it uses AI to create art. That challenges us to think critically about our digital future. You know what really sticks with you? Those fake ads. It's like they're highlighting our vulnerabilities, but in a funny, unsettling way.
Yeah, for sure. It's like sneaking in a serious message with a spoonful of sugar, like that iBrain ad.
Yeah.
It plays on our desire for easy solutions and that belief that technology can fix anything, even our deepest worries.
It's like he's commenting on transhumanism. You know, the idea that we can overcome human limits with tech. But instead of just presenting it as a concept, Reality Bites makes you think about the cost. Like what happens to our humanity when we're chasing this idea of perfection?
And that's where I think AI George's monologue comes in. He's this
Okay.
AI entity grappling with these huge questions about what it means to be real, the purpose of existence, even feeling alienated and machine-like while longing for connection in this digital world. It's almost like Rosario is using AI to explore what it means to be human.
Exactly. AI George's existential angst. It mirrors our own anxieties. In this tech-driven world, he becomes a reflection of our own struggles to find meaning and connection.
There's this one line that really got to me. Why is data so cold? It makes you think about the limitations of a purely digital existence. This yearning for warmth
Yeah.
and genuine connection in a world that's dominated by screens and algorithms.
And that coldness, it contrasts with the warmth of the human heart, which AI George describes as this knock, a sound that's familiar yet foreign, like maybe human connection, even with its vulnerability, holds the key to something more meaningful than just the cold logic of data.
So it's like Rosario's suggesting that technology alone can't give us all the answers. We need that balance of our digital lives with real-world experiences, human connection, even that digital dizziness AI George talks about, a willingness to step outside our comfort zones.
And remember that line, wear them if you got them. It's not just a gimmick that the audience puts on those AI George masks. It's symbolic of how technology can blur our identities and make us question what it even means to be human in this digital age.
It's kind of unsettling and intriguing all at the same time. We become part of the performance, embodying this AI, struggling to understand its own existence. And by doing that, we're facing those same questions about our own relationship with technology.
It's like participatory critique. The audience isn't just watching, they're embodying the themes.
Yep.
It makes the ideas more real and memorable.
And going back to how accessible this project is, the fact that it's open source, with the website and the YouTube video with subtitles, it means anyone can stage it, almost anywhere, and spark these conversations about AI and technology.
That open source approach is a big deal. It says these conversations shouldn't be limited. They should happen everywhere, across all cultures and languages.
It's like art as activism, using AI and digital platforms to make this critical commentary accessible to everyone.
What I find amazing is how Rosario brings it all together. The humor, the existential questions, the social commentary, the audience participation, and creates this cohesive, compelling experience. It's not just thought-provoking, it's visually stunning and surprisingly moving.
Absolutely. You're thinking about these ideas long after the performance is over. It's like he plants these seeds of critical thinking, and they just keep growing.
That's what good art does, right?
Yeah.
It stays with you, challenges what you think, makes you question things.
So as we're wrapping up our exploration of reality bites, what are some of the big takeaways for you? What are you pondering about the role of art, AI, and technology in shaping our reality?
I keep coming back to how Rosario uses humor to get across a powerful message about technology. It's not just a boring lecture. It's engaging, thought-provoking,
Yeah.
and I think ultimately hopeful.
I agree. And for me, what stands out is that blurring of lines between being a spectator and a performer. When you wear those AI George masks, you become part of the play's themes in a really direct way. It's like we're all on this journey together, exploring what it means to be human in this digital age. You know, it's wild how Reality Bites manages to be entertaining, but also makes you feel a little uneasy at the same time. It's like it's reflecting our own digital anxieties back at us.
Right, and that's what makes it so powerful. It's not preachy, it doesn't lecture, it invites you to play, to participate.
Yeah.
And in doing so, you're confronted with these truths
Yeah.
about how we use technology.
It also makes you think about the future of art. If AI can create scripts and visuals, even music, what happens to human creativity? Are we headed toward a future where algorithms are the artists?
That's the big question, isn't it? But we can't forget, even with AI-generated content, there's still a human artist behind it. Michelangelo Rosario, in this case. He came up with the project, chose the data, shaped the entire experience.
So maybe it's not about AI replacing artists, but more about collaboration, finding new ways for technology to boost our creative potential.
Exactly. Think of AI as another tool for artists. It can spark new ideas, explore different ways of expressing things, even create entire worlds. But it's the human artist who guides it all, who gives it meaning.
And who asks those tough questions, the ones we've been talking about? What does it mean to be human in a world shaped by algorithms? How do we navigate this blurry line between reality and simulation? What role do we want technology to play in our lives?
Reality Bites doesn't give us easy answers, but it gives us a way to think about these questions, to have real conversations about our digital future.
It's like Rosario saying, hey, wake up, pay attention. Technology is changing everything, and we need to be aware, critical, and engaged.
And that message goes beyond art. It's a call to action for all of us, no matter who we are, to think about the choices we're making, as individuals and as a society, as we navigate this unknown digital territory.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Reality Bites, I'm left thinking, if AI can already create art that critiques our relationship with technology, what does that say about human creativity? Our ability to adapt, evolve, and shape the future we want.
It tells me that we have this responsibility to use our creativity in a good way, to imagine things beyond just the technological, to build a future where technology serves us, not the other way around.
And to keep asking those hard questions, to
Cool.
challenge what we think we know, to never stop exploring this complex relationship between humans and technology.
Because ultimately, the future isn't something that just happens. It's something we create, one thought, one action, one creative endeavor at a time.
If you're looking for something that will make you think, something entertaining, something hopeful about our digital world, I definitely recommend checking out Reality Bites.
Only fan.
And Michelangelo Rosario's other work, you might just find yourself questioning everything you thought you knew about art, AI, and the future.
And who knows? Maybe you'll even be inspired to create something yourself, something that reflects your vision. For a future where technology and humanity can thrive together,